So if I asked you whether you had savings, I'm sure you would say yes. And if I asked you, why do you save money? You probably have a reason. But what if I told you that the best way to save money is to save for no reason at all? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be looking at money lessons to help you improve your relationship with money. I'm going to be sharing lessons from the book, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. I'm not going to be sharing every single lesson from the book. So the book contains 20 lessons, but I'm just going to be sharing the top 6 that resonated with me and is definitely going to be very vital to you in helping you level up your financial game. That being said, let's get right into it. Lesson number 1. Your personal experiences shaping your attitude to money. What this means is the things you've gone through in life also affect how you use money and how you think of money. So for example, someone who has gone through losing money and not having enough to eat might have a thing with ensuring they have money in their account. Or someone who grew up and had to see his parents maybe lose a property because of not having enough savings, they have a different attitude to saving money. To them, saving money provides that sense of security. So everybody has personal experiences that shaping how they deal with money. Also, if someone has lost money before through an investing opportunity or through whatever means, they are more cautious with investments and they are not very comfortable with risk. As a result, they become risk averse. It's not necessarily because they don't want to invest. It's more because they have experienced things that have shaping how they approach investing or taking risks. To cap it up, something in page 22, he said, but no one is crazy. We all make decisions based on our unique experiences that seem to make sense to us in a given moment. He was also talking about how like people might have money and then they splurge on certain things, and then to you you're like, why are you spending so much money buying clothes, buying things like this, or buying a car? Because to you it doesn't make sense, but the person who is buying that car in that moment, that seems like the right decision based on their experiences with money. So nobody's crazy, everybody just acts from a place of personal experiences. The second lesson is that luck plays a role in success. I really like that this book highlighted this because this is something we don't always think about. Yes, you might be hardworking, but people who are successful, 100% of their success does not come from hard work. A huge or a significant chunk of it comes from luck. Okay, one example he gave there is how like Bill Gates went to one of the very few schools in the US that had access to a computer, which actually helped ignite his interest in tech and every other thing that he does today. So if he did not have access to computer, if he was not lucky to be in one of those universities, where do you think Bill Gates will be today? So luck definitely plays a role in success. Something he said that I really like, he said 100% of your actions does not dictate 100% of your outcomes. So you don't expect that if you're giving 100% hard work, you're going to get 100% success. No, you might give 100% hard work and only get 80% success because the order is dependent on luck. Okay, we need to learn to accept that luck plays a role. Not every successful person you see made it just because of hard work. There is luck and there's something called chance and opportunity. Okay, in page 33 he sums it up by saying, but realize that not all success is due to hard work and not all poverty is due to laziness. Keep this in mind when judging yourself, including people. I'm sure you've seen people who society considers poor, but then sometimes they tend to be the most hardworking set of people you come across, yet they are not as wealthy as you would expect. And that's because not all poverty is due to laziness. There's such a thing as opportunity, as chance, exposure, luck. There are things that play a role in someone's success and not just hard work. The next lesson is learning to have a sense of enough. What Morgan was explaining here is how like we need to know when enough is enough, like when we should stop with the rat race of trying to make so much money and not pushing ourselves and sacrificing things that are valuable to us just because we're trying to hit the next big target. The goalpost will keep moving. Like the target you're trying to hit in terms of money, financially, it will keep moving. You need to know when you are like, okay, this is enough. I am content with what I have. If I make more money, fine, but not to the point that you're not satisfied with what you have and then you keep sacrificing things to get to that next big goal, that next financial goal. The way he defined having enough is realizing that the insatiable appetite for more will push you to the point of regret. So basically, the more you want to make money, the more you keep wanting, the more you're going to push yourself to the point where you regret your actions. Because the more you want things, the easier it is for you to become desperate, and then desperation sets in and you begin to do anything for money, and you don't really consider the impact that your actions have on the things around you. And the things he mentioned here, he said there are things that are not worth sacrificing or risking, no matter the gain in your hustle or in your race to make money. There are things you should not sacrifice. One of them is reputation. So just because you want to make money does not mean you should put your reputation on the line by doing things that are illegal or things that are dodgy just because you want more, because you're not content with what you have, you're not content with enough, you put your reputation on the line. There are things like freedom and independence, so being able to walk around on the street freely, as opposed to being in prison for maybe money laundering or illegal thing you've done with money. These are things that you should not sacrifice just because you're not content with what you have. Another thing he said you shouldn't sacrifice is family. So you don't sacrifice time with family, time with friends, just because you want to go to work and make more money. You sacrifice your Saturdays, you sacrifice every single day of your life. You don't really care about building relationships with people. He said this is one of the things you shouldn't sacrifice in the rat race to make more money. Also, he mentioned that happiness is invaluable. So happiness is something you shouldn't trade just because you want to make more money. So there are things that are not worth risking no matter the gain. So we're going into the fourth lesson. The fourth lesson is money gives freedom. So he said the ultimate value that money gives us is the ability to control our time and do whatever we want when we want it. So it's like ultimate sign of wealth is the ability to do what you want to do and to control your time. Another way he puts it is that control over your time is one of the greatest contributors to happiness. Just imagine if you can decide when you want to go to work, if you can decide when you want to travel, when you want to go for vacation, and you don't have to worry about any of these things because you have the money. So true wealth equals freedom, equals financial independence to do what you like when you like it. And he said this freedom could come in various ways. This freedom could come in having 6 months emergency fund saved up, and knowing that if your boss decides to terminate you at work today, or if they decide to make you redundant at work today, you are fine. You have the freedom to relax for a few months and then choose the job you want, and not just select the next job offer that comes on board because you don't have money. He said this freedom could also mean being able to afford a medical emergency and not worrying about how it's going to impact your finances because you have money saved up. That is the greatest intrinsic value of money. Another way this freedom looks like is using money to buy options. So instead of just settling for the only option available, because you have money, you have access to more options. So for example, if you want to travel with money, you can afford to go business class, you can afford to maybe even take a helicopter. That is the greatest and the most intrinsic value of money, the ability to give you control over your time and do whatever you want when you want. The fifth lesson is that wealth is what you don't see. A lot of times we base off people's richness based on what we can see. Oh, he has $100,000 car. Oh, they live in a duplex. Oh, they traveled to the Bahamas last year. They're always traveling. That is not wealth. Wealth is intangible assets that are yet to be converted to money. The way he approached this thing that was interesting. He said, if you see somebody with $100,000 car, what you know or what you should actually think is they are $100,000 less richer than they were before. Because for them to have bought that car, they have spent that money, which means $100,000 has gone out of their total value or their total net worth. So they are actually less richer, if we put it that way, than they were initially. And then also, because someone has $100,000 car does not necessarily mean they are rich, because this could be debt. This could be car that they are still paying for. The fact that you see someone buying luxurious things, living the luxury life, does not necessarily mean they are wealthy. It could mean that they borrowed these things or they are in debt trying to pay this off. So wealth is not the things you see. Okay, wealth is the intangible assets that are yet to be converted to money. So investments, assets like real estate, shares, stocks, stuff like that. These are the things that actually contribute to true wealth. Then another thing he said here is that spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less money. He was talking about how rich people always want to make it obvious that they are rich. rich, they go out of their way to impress all of us. And he said the fastest way to lose your money is to constantly spend money trying to prove to people that you have more money. So one thing he said is that wealthy people actually do not care about what others think about them. They don't care about using the latest car, the latest phone. That's not what they're looking at. What they're looking at is building true wealth, the true assets that we cannot see. So if you're so focused on what people think and trying to impress people with your money, then my dear, you need to reevaluate, because that is not the way to make true wealth. Just to wrap up this point, on page 98, he said, when most people say that they want to be a millionaire, what they actually mean is that I would like to spend $1 million. And that is literally the opposite of being a millionaire. Being a millionaire means having millions in your account or millions in assets. But the way most people quantify being a millionaire is being able to afford $1 million car or $1 million or $1 million house. But that is not what true wealth is. These are two opposite things. So now to the sixth and final lesson that I'm going to share is save money for no reason. Now this brings me back to my opening sentence where I said the best way to save money is to save for no reason. So one interesting concept Morgan introduced is how you should just save money for the sake of it. And the reason why you should save money for the sake of it is because you don't know what the future holds and you can't predict the emergencies or the financial upheavals or the financial situations that will come up. So once you have a savings that is not actually tied to anything, you have the freedom to do whatever you want to do with that savings and to spend it the way you want to spend. Generally we've been taught, save money for a particular reason, but he's saying it's also important to have money in your account that you don't have a specific reason for. You don't have a reason for saving it. The money is just there because you don't know what life is going to bring up in the next few months. So I found that really interesting and it just helped me approach my savings differently. So another way that I put it is that saving is a hedge against uncertainty. Because no one knows tomorrow, just having money saved up will help you prepare for an unexpected outcome. Another thing Morgan shares here is that in order to increase your savings, you would think, you need to increase your income in it. So because the higher the income, the more the savings. That's what we generally believe, but that's not true. He said if you want to increase your savings, you need to increase your humility. So savings and humility go hand in hand. The more humble you are, the more likely you are to save money because you're not trying to impress anyone. And he said the people that are best at personal finance or have seen success in their personal finances are people that don't care about what others think. Because when your humility is really high, you're a very humble person, you won't go above and beyond to try and impress every Jack, Dick, and Harry, okay? To increase your savings, increase your humility. Another thing that he said, that savings is the gap between your ego and your income. So basically what this means is if your ego is high, so if you have a high ego, you want to, prove to the masses who you are, your savings is going to be low because you're going above and beyond to prove that you're rich to people. But then if your savings is high, then your ego is low. Okay, it means you don't really care about what people think, and that is actually the best way to go about building money or improving your personal finances. So is your ego really high or is your humility high? So let me know in the comment section down below. So basically, to wrap it all up, what he's trying to say here is you can have high income and have low savings, okay? High income does not equal high savings, and low income does not equal low savings, okay? Okay, so we have come to the end. Those are my top 6 money lessons from the book, The Psychology of Money. I'll suggest that you get the book and read. There's some other points that might strike a point or might hit home with you. For me, not every single lesson in the book made a mark in my mind. I've just shared the top 6 ones that, left a mark on my mind or left an imprint on my mind. So if you want to read it, definitely read it. I'll put a link to the book in the description box below. That will be all, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, bye bye.